Welcome to Ticker Tidbits, Kate and Alex.
How's it going, everyone? As you can see, our studio has changed a little bit. And speaking of change, we're going to talk about changing habits today.
Exactly. So, what started this conversation? We started this conversation yesterday out in the gym about changing habits and a specific that I had never heard of program came up.
Yeah, it's like a fad. I don't know if it's a program. Yeah.
Well, they call it, so it's 75 hard. They call it a mental toughness program.
Yeah, it's supposed to turn your life around in 75 days, basically.
So 75 days is a little over a couple months.
Yeah, I don't know math.
Math major there, yeah.
2.5 months. 2.5 months.
Okay, so what it is every single day, well, there's rules. So the first thing is change your diet. And I have to admit, I didn't fully look into everything beyond what diet they suggest. They just said change it. You're supposed to 2 times a day do a 45-minute workout. Drink 4+ liters of water. Read 10+ pages of, I think, nonfiction. Take a 5-minute cold shower. Take progress photos daily. And be nice.
Oh, man, that's a lot of stuff.
Right. So I think the idea behind this is if you can change all of these things, so it's 75 days of controlled change, right?
Yeah.
Across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different habits. Now, you had mentioned yesterday, and you'd written down habits versus routine.
Yeah. Because there's a difference between, making something a habit and then it just being a routine where you don't even think about it, you just do it.
Right, second nature. So I was reading up a little bit on how to make a habit. A habit, a habit means you do it habitually over and over and over again. And they're saying in this article that I read, things that can derail you. So you go through the honeymoon phase. Now let's talk about how this was going to relate to we're in a gym, right? And I'm thinking about making habits and making changes. So you can have dietary habits, which comes in the 75 hard, and you have workout habits that also comes in here. It's the first 2 things.
Yeah.
Well, we're approaching a new year. I feel like a lot of people come in and they're like, I'm going to make it part of my routine as a habit that I go to the gym every day. And then this article was saying that the first phase of developing a habit is the honeymoon phase, where you're like, I am in.
It's the extreme motivation where you're like, yep, I can do it. It's that first couple of days where you're like, yeah, I'm going to the gym. I'm gonna do all the things.
And the striking realization, why we're talking about this, was because you were chatting with one of our members, and he said he had started 75 hard how many times?
4 times.
And his longest streak was?
12 days.
Which is
Might be different now.
It might be different now.
But at the time of our conversation, he had made it 12 days before he decided he needed to restart 75 hard.
So he'd made it a habit to restart it. Oh
boy. Oh boy.
To be honest, he did.
Yeah.
It's an interesting theory. So if I'm thinking about, coming into the gym and making a gym a habit, you're really good at training almost every day, sticking to a routine.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
It's something I don't have. I don't want to say I don't have to think about it, but it's one of the things that I feel like I need to do in my day.
Right.
At least hit one workout within the day.
And you're motivated to do it.
Yeah, because I have goals and other things that we've talked about in previous podcasts that I want to be able to accomplish. And I know without working out or working out twice a day or whatever it may be, I'm not going to reach those goals either at all or as fast as I want to.
And that is something, the goal part of it. So to create a habit, to create a routine, you have something that you're doing it for.
There has to be a reason. You can't just, if there's no reason, there's nothing backing you from keeping that habit.
Right. We have most people, I would hope, except for my one eldest child, has the routine, the habit of brushing their teeth every day. Right. And the reason that you would brush your teeth every day is so that you don't get cavities, obviously, and your teeth don't fall out of your head. So the interesting thing about that is taking you in how you have a goal, a habit that you have formed to reach your goal. Right. The thing that I want to pull apart about some of these gimmicks, you had said this, it's like a get rich quick scheme kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it's
Like, you're going to change your habit in 75 days, and it's going to be done by these things. So let's play. Let's say you wanted to do this. Change your diet. And we'll kind of go through this like a historic thing. Like, think about when you were not in a great routine. You weren't working out every day. Would you say that you changed your diet?
Diets was, it'd be one of the first things I changed.
And that didn't take very long for you to make it a routine and habit to eat a certain way.
Took about a month.
Okay. Then working out in general, training every day. How long did that take to kind of settle in?
It kind of like once I get the diet down, then I can kind of get into the work, like focus on the workout.
Because then you felt good.
Yeah, because like if I try and work out while I'm still trying to fix my diet, I don't feel good because my diet's not good.
Right.
And it's one of those like, where if the diet's not good, and then I don't feel good, and then I try and work out, and then I feel really not good, and then it's eat your feelings the next day, or it's I didn't eat good, so I can't work out because I didn't fuel my body right. So, well, maybe tomorrow I'll try it. So unless I get my diet down, I don't really focus on the workout habit, I guess.
And I run into the same thing. Mine's not so much diet because my diet is very routinized and secure.
Almost like a lifestyle.
Right. Oh, man.
Might have jumped the gun there.
Jumped
bringing
ahead
up the
a
life.
little bit.
Yeah.
Mine's recovery. I know that the days that I don't recover enough and I have a lot going on in my life that I need to take something a part of that, and usually my recovery is at the expense of my training.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still an active person. I still eat really well, and I know that I have the habit of training in the big picture, which I think is one of the things that's missing out of, these forced, get fit, get healthy, quick schemes, is like this one, says it's a mental toughness program. And I wrote a note here saying, well, then what?
Yeah.
You're mentally tough at 75 days?
Yeah, what comes after day 76? What's day 76 look like?
Right. So we've changed our diet. We've done workouts, water I support, reading. It's a great habit to read something. Can you get into something in 75 days? There is something about enjoyment in there that I feel like. And that goes into that lifestyle. Like, if you're forcing yourself to check off these boxes, like I would not enjoy a 5-minute cold shower every day.
No. Oh, God.
Now, there are a lot of benefits
one of the things
to it.
I really enjoy in the morning is taking a nice warm shower.
Right.
Like, if I would have had to get out of bed and be like, oh, my God, I got to take a cold shower today.
Do you think you could do this?
No. Absolutely not. I'm not even going to pretend I can. I wouldn't. The reading alone, like, I don't read. I didn't read. I went through 5 years of college without reading. I have a degree.
For me, it'd be the 5-minute cold shower. That's a long time to stand. I guess cold is relative.
Yeah.
The photos daily, being
I already do that.
Doing doing something nice. I do like some of these habits. It's an interesting thing that we have some stuff that's really hard to change the habit, and then it's kind of put in there like, be nice. Reach out to somebody in person every single day. That's a great thing.
I don't think it should be something, though, where you're like, for 75 days, I
must
be nice.
Because then what happens? I mean,
it becomes ingenuine when you're forcing yourself to be nice each day. Like, eventually, maybe it'll circle back around to being like, oh, I enjoy being nice and doing nice things for people. But
But then it needs to be who you are as a person, your lifestyle. I think you really touched on something there. If I think about coming into the gym and doing our training, it takes a huge commitment. So as much as developing a habit and a routine is paramount to like this program and to make changes and to see small changes add up, which you wrote, but I think there is a commitment to the big picture. Mm-hmm. Like, I talked about the honeymoon phase, and then you kind of talked about the little inside things that make a difference, daily, if then.
Yeah.
If then scenarios of, if I don't sleep, I don't train because then I might get hurt or overdo myself. And same thing with your food. Lifestyle changes metrics, if I think about, trusting the process of coming in every day and just doing the work, and that by making these habits something, like a lifestyle, I think that's where you see the biggest results. And is that 75 days?
No. I don't think health can be achieved in like your ultimate life or what your goal lifestyle can be achieved in 75 days.
Right.
That's a lifelong process. It's a lifestyle for a reason.
Right. Now, could you jumpstart it? I mean, our client has pointed out that no, it's not easily successful.
No.
To say that you're going to make major changes. I wonder if, we broke these apart. It's like for the next 75 days. I mean, I'm thinking about, the holidays coming up.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people fall off the diet, their good, healthy eating and, from stress and parties and family and routine breaking. Is there a way to set a routine, a small change of making sure you're still coming into the gym even when it's hard during these months?
Yeah, I think, one thing with 75 hard is I think it would be impossible to go through 75 hard and then maintain every single one of those habits.
I didn't look at, but I wonder, and you had said like what happens on day 76. Are we trying just to make these habits?
I guess.
Is it going to be like, what's the end result? And I had said this at the bottom, then what? How do we measure progress? How do we know that what we're doing is right? I mean, they've kind of got in there the take photos daily. That's a metric that I guess if you're doing this, if it's a mental toughness program, why are you taking photos? Why are you changing your diet without guidance? How do we measure progress of any habit, goal, lifestyle?
No, I think there's a lot of ways to measure progress. Hint for next podcast. And yeah, taking a picture each day would be one way, but then also in terms of habits is how you feel after, like, if all of a sudden you change something, like you start working out every day. Well, and now you're a little bit happier each day, or you're a little bit more confident, whatever it may be. There's small things you can look at in terms of progress, but when you're only looking at a photo each day, it's going to be a little hard to see progress.
I mean, the idea with habits is small changes add up.
Yeah.
So relating that to the gym, small changes, just showing up every day, doing any sort of movement or working on, improving your diet every day. These small changes, not stuck to mental toughness, not stuck to acuity to a program, is how you would achieve that over time.
No, I think the alternative is 75 hard, which is the way when our client who is doing 75 hard brought it up, what I recommend to him is instead of trying to go 75 days in a row, doing all these habits, where if you miss one day, you're like, oh my God, I failed. Where you go, I'm going to pick one of them. And I'm going to make that a habit. I'm going to work on that for 30 days. So maybe maybe you want to start off really little and you're like, I'm going to read 10 pages of a book every day for a month.
Yeah.
And then when you don't get around to reading those 10 pages, it's not a colossal failure.
So I wonder if you got a book that was exactly 310,
300 pages.
Right. And you read one day and then you finished the book. Is that habit done? Would you pick up another book? That's what I wonder on a program like this. If you're forced to do this for 10 pages every day and you have to do it, does it actually stick? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person. But back to like, say you're successful in reading those 10 pages every day, and now the next month you're like, I'm gonna ramp it up a little bit. I'm gonna focus on drinking water every day, the 4 liters of water every day, and I'm gonna keep reading those 10 pages because I've already done it for a month. It's starting to become a habit or maybe a lifestyle.
Yeah. And that's what the article said was it's the honeymoon phase where you can, it seems fun. And then there's the phase where you just do it.
Yeah.
And you may have setbacks. Like maybe you finish your book and you don't buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I think about diet, you mentioned this earlier, like, I eat a piece of pizza on Friday night. Does it ruin your diet for how long?
Yeah, it's the same. The problem becomes with something like 75 hard, where it's a set number of days, and you're focusing on a whole bunch of things, where you only have so much willpower.
Willpower.
Yeah. And for example, just say one weekend you go out with friends and have pizza and beer, and you're like, well, crap, I went out and had pizza and beer. I lost my diet. You know what, screw it. I'm just going to take the whole weekend off. I'm going to pick back up on Monday.
Right.
And then that'll keep happening instead of me like, oh, I had pizza and beer. That was a fun night. All right. let's wake up the next day. Let's just get back at the diet.
Right.
I had a good time.
My book ended.
I enjoyed
need to get
it.
a new one. You know, I only drank 3 liters of water in a day without having that structure, I think. You know.
Yeah, you can be a little bit easier on yourself.
We can end with, if I think about how we train here at Ticker, a lot of what we do is working on making our clients autonomous, right? So making them come in and we set their relative intensity for what they need in their
Yeah.
training. So we've already got this, like, you're going to have to get over yourself and come into the gym, but then we have the habit of just coming in and doing the work. And the members that we have do a phenomenal job of coming in and doing the work because they understand that it's his lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, health and wellness and bettering those takes work and effort, and it becomes a habit. I think for a lot of them, it spreads off of a habit and turns into a lifestyle when they start doing things like drink water and, you know, change their diet for the better.
Yeah.
I would hope they're nicer.
Yeah. And I don't think health and wellness can be achieved in 75 days. I really, it's going to take, for some people, maybe you can turn your health around in 75 days, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way.
You could start to develop, I'm going to call it patterns.
Ooh, I like that word.
You know, you can be motivated and have willpower to make it through some pattern changing.
Mm-hmm.
I like,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Check in with us next time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about measuring progress.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Bye.